The Carter is the Lil Wayne album, as I mentioned. I believe it's the Lil Wayne album that saved Cash Money. The Carter came at such a pivotal time, and just that Cash Money whole era, you got to think a lot of people, they see Wayne now and they see the rock star who he is, but it was a Wayne back then who was just like raw, bro. Like, and it was the growth of him as well. Like, his rhyming style changed, and I've been a fan of Wayne since Hot Boys. So I pretty much grew up listening to Lil Wayne, and I know that this was the moment that the light bulb switched. What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Flowers. For those that's new to my channel, Flowers is my segment where I like to give some albums that I feel lack appreciation, or maybe even some classic albums their recognition and flowers, because they can never have too much of that, right? This album I feel like personifies the Flowers segment to me. I feel like this album started the whole thing for this artist as far as their second life, and I think it's probably, I must say, why it's the most important album in their discography. So today, I'm going to be talking about Lil Wayne, The Carter. I came back saying that it sounds funny, like I should be saying something else after that. The Carter 2, Carter 3, Carter 4. But The Carter is the Lil Wayne album, as I mentioned. I believe it's the Lil Wayne album that saved Cash Money. The Carter came at such a pivotal time, and just that Cash Money whole era, you got to think a lot of people, they see Wayne now and they see the rock star who he is, but it was a Wayne back then who was just like raw, bro. Like, and it was the growth of him as well. Like, his rhyming style changed, and I've been a fan of Wayne since Hot Boys. So I pretty much grew up listening to Lil Wayne, and I know that this was the moment that the light bulb switched. Like, this was the moment it changed lyrically. This is when he started getting respect from his peers for his pen. Back then, the pen game still meant a lot. So he was getting respect from his pen. Set aside all the mixtapes up to that point, the squad up mixtapes. You can hear on 500 Degrees where you hear some pockets and you're like, okay, I ain't used to Lil Wayne doing that. But on this one, some of the flows and the pattern, you wouldn't even think he was from New Orleans. It's the last album with Manny Fresh doing production for Lil Wayne up until the Carter 5, I believe. And, Carter 2, if you haven't checked out my Carter 2 review, I'll put the link up here as well. But I wanted to give this album just its flowers, just because I don't think it's talked about enough in his discography. So let's get into it. This album came out in, I think it was summer 2004. Let me check to make sure. June 29th, 2004, 3 days after my birthday. So this was a birthday present to me. I remember it was this and Lloyd Banks' Hunger for More came out on the same day. And at that time, G-Unit was everything. Like, this is just 2004. Like, this is after Get Rich, Beg for Mercy. They were on a crazy run. So it was shocking that when I listened to Lil Wayne's album, The Carter, I was like, oh shit, this might be better than Hunger for More. I listened to this more than I listened to Hunger for More, which is crazy at that time. You got to think at that time. Like, it was, now it sounds crazy. Like, I can't believe I listened to a Lil Wayne album over a Lloyd Banks album. Like, it sounds crazy. But back then, when I was going to ninth grade, on my way to ninth grade, this album was everywhere. Throughout the hallways, throughout the schools, on the bus, in the neighborhoods, this album, my cousins, this album was everywhere. And, he starts the album. It's the first album he does the intro. So he does the walk-in. He does the walk-in, and he's comparing it to the actual Carter from New Jack City. And I think that was a dope thing, a dope-ass just something to bridge the story together. I thought that was a dope concept. When he starts it off and you hear how comfortable he is, and I came back around. This is the Carter, y'all welcome. Hard as Malcolm, dark as a falcon, Lord help him. But y'all felt him. And it make you a part of me, and pardon me if a part of me is what you want to be, what you ought to be doing, recording me or just acting accordingly. I give orders to the commander-in-chief, just the commander in me. Wayne don't even rap like that now. And Wayne's been on a run lately, but that you can hear like it's some Eminem in there, some Hove in there. It's some like you can hear the and part of me is what you want to be like. That's a crazy. That's a crazy flow. I'm so ahead of these trendy rappers. Feet up. I'm already hot when another one's starting to heat up. Got Manny hot with me because I always beat his beat up. Y'all cats with y'all feet up. Starting to look like feet up. I'm G'd up from the feet up. In the trunk, I put my seat up. In the trunk, I got my bass and I ain't speak. I could go on forever. Like, was leaking out your speakers is the speech of Weezy F Baby. No more, no less, baby. So forth and so on. Let's go. And imagine how young he was. What was he, 19, 20? When this album came out, like crazy. The Go and the Go DJ, that's a classic Lil Wayne record, and that beat on there, that 808, that's the one thing I did miss about Lil Wayne and Manny Fresh, because it sounded like they found their groove at this moment. Like up until that point, I think Wayne and Manny Fresh production was catered towards that original Cash Money sound, and it's still on here. This is the Carter, is that Cash Money production sound, but the beats that he was giving them on here, Go DJ is one of those ones that's just like, yo, like, and she keep asking why I shoot if it's plastic. It's so funny. Back at that time, it was like plastic guns was like, what? That was a thing. Like, how shoot if it's plastic? You see if your man run up, she sat back and cut the Carter back up for sure. Hey, Big Mike, they better step their authority up for they step to a sergeant. Son, I got army guns. Like. Oh shit, like it's not the bling bling era no more. He was saying something. Not to say like he never said any context. I mean, any content in his music would be a shame, because in his first album, he showed content. But this one, you hear that growth, and imagine he's only 19, 20 years old. I think we overlook sometimes how young Wayne was at the time. Like we just like, oh yeah, when Wayne just turned like 38, bro. Wayne's been rapping since Wayne's been famous since I was 5 years old. Like, it's nuts. Birdman Jr., come on, man. Birdman Jr. might be the best Lil Wayne song of all time. If you play a Lil Wayne song and I put on Birdman Jr. and we're in a room full of people who actually know about the shit, just his aggression on that. Murder capital, only key to survive is kill. If the elements won't murder you, the riders will for real. And niggas know I go hard to the fullest, get involved, and I got him playing dodgeball with bullets. Yeah, I got the sawed off fully on the Sean John hoodie. Like, his passion and his voice changed. And if you haven't listened to the Carter, for all the new Lil Wayne fans that came along around the Carter 3, all that rebirth shit, listen to the Carter, bro. Listen to just the birth of it all. Like, it's a reason why the Carter series means so much, and it started with this. Talking about the turmoil between him and his brothers, BG, Juvie, and Turk. And because you had to know at that time, Cash Money broke up. It was diss records, like he said. I know that ain't true, that put that dissing on me. It was just a great record to hear. And I remember, I'm pretty sure the footage is still out there somewhere, but Lil Wayne performing the song live in front of BG, and he's literally rapping his verse dedicated to BG, like, to his face. Like, that's one of the dopest moments in hip hop I've ever seen. Like, it just, and they hugged after. It just felt heartfelt. It just felt like a great moment, because that Cash Money run, the first Cash Money run with the Hot Boys, Juvie, BG, and Turk, Big Timers as well, was special. Like, Cash Money Rough Riders was the first show I ever seen in my life, and they coming in on helicopters and coming out of platinum watches, and Lil Wayne runs from out the back. Like, it was so dope. Like, it was a very great moment that unfortunately came to an end because whatever reasons, and that put Cash Money in a weird spot. So Wayne got a release called 500 Degrees, which is pretty much a shot at Juvenile and him trying to take the torch of Cash Money and make it to the brand we know it is today. And then it was okay, but it didn't get no critically acclaim. It wasn't, replay value was little to none. And he returns with this one, and it's like a whole new Wayne. Even the joint with Birdman on there, we don't give a fizz up, my nigga. We young and biz out here. Like, just listening to this album today, just to get ready for the show, is bringing back so many memories of how, like, we just put this album on and just go. Like, CD player in the house, Walkman. It was like, yeah, Walkman. This album was everything. Then the Shuffle, iPod Shuffle came out maybe like 2 years later, a year later. This album was like in heavy rotation. The Heat, that's the one. Leg, arm head is that Heat? Cash Money Millionaires. Oh my gosh, with the T.I. Bezel sample. Who you think you fucking with? I'm serious about this. Got 25 lighters on my dresser, and if I give it to my, she gonna bring back more. Like, I used to love that song. That beat is just so hard. Like, that 808 on there is crazy. Another skit where he go with the interlude, pretty much, where he takes you in and like, Molly, don't shoot him. I think that was dope. And then here's where the heroin boils. It's just so many dope lines and dope concepts with that. Bring It Back was the first single. Well, not even the first single, oddly. It was another song. I think it's still on Lil Wayne's YouTube channel. But it was really the first single off the Carter 1. But they scrapped it. It was a video and everything. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. If you guys remember it in the comments, let me know. I think it was like a red Maybach in the video. Wayne shirt off, obviously, like a blue building wall. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a single that came out that was supposed to be on the Carter that I guess didn't. It wasn't better than Bring It Back to the Bottom of the Map. And Bring It Back to the Bottom of the Map was the first song where we hear him proclaim himself to be the best rapper alive since the best rapper retired. And at that moment, we realized the Jay-Z influence on Lil Wayne. Not only it's called the Carter as well. Funny, they both got the same last name. And I remember it was a thing, these little urban legends when we kids. It was Lil Wayne was recreating all the Jay-Z volume covers. So like on Volume 1, they both holding their chains. Volume 2, Carter 2, they're both leaning on cars. Volume 3 and Carter 3 kind of put that to bed because he just went straight with the kid on the cover. But it was pretty on par. The rumor was pretty on par up to that point. Also, do you guys remember that? If you look at it after this, go check it out. Bring It Back video when he has on Gilly the Kids in there. He has on Gilly's Major Figure chain through the video. I thought that was funny. Who Wanna is one of those records as well that displays that lyrical ability that Wayne had at such a young age. Who want with me? I'm gonna bring it for. Get Down was dope. Snitch probably the worst song on Hit Me. I just don't like that beat. Hoes, classic Cash Money kind of record. Only Way. Damn, that beat was hard. Again, Manny Fresh doesn't get anywhere near the acclaim and praise he deserves for just the production he did with the Cash Money company from late 90s to early 2000s. Like, he was producing whole albums, bro. Like, whole albums for 4 artists on the label, back to back to back to back. It was nuts. So I don't think, and that 808, I don't think he gets enough credit for that 808 that he uses that's pretty much prevalent throughout all hip-hop today. Earthquake with Jazzy Faye, Ain't That a Bitch, I think that's dope. They say the cops is watching, the streets is talking. See, another Jay-Z reference, right? They say the cops is watching, streets is talking. Your hoes unfaithful, your family ungrateful. Your niggas ain't loyal, your niggas ain't lawyers, and everybody saw you, and ain't that a... Just that context alone is just dope. Like, Wayne wasn't rapping like this before, so I hate to keep reiterating that, but good times, man. And then he ends it with the Walkout. Just a perfect way to close it up. It may be too long of an album now, 21 songs, 79 minutes, hour and like 19 minutes. So I get it. It might run a little bit long, but Young Boy was spazzing at the time. With that said, let me get into my best songs. Birdman JR, obviously. Go DJ. I'm going to go with Only Way. I love that 808 on there. Boom, boom. And I love his vocal performance on that record. Worst song, I'm going to go with Snitch. Best line, it's easy. And people say that I am a kid still because the little nigga still ride on big wheels. You feel an animal, then come on and get killed. The sick pill bandanas like bananas. They say I'm slight bananas. I blow a weekend in Havana. In my cabana. With my bottom from Savannah. Man, the train couldn't stop your man. I man up and you not a man. I stand up, say I got my land. I'm the man of my land. Call it Louisiana. That's the new plan. Let's wrap this up. In closing, I wanted to talk about the Carter 1. It's weird saying that. I wanted to talk about the Carter 1 just because the reasons I mentioned earlier in the video. This album doesn't get enough praise that it deserves, especially with the Carter series. I think it gets overshadowed by 3, 4, and 2. And I can see that it gets lost in the shuffle a bit. And for the newer Lil Wayne fans, it's probably a little bit more difficult to digest because it's not the particular Wayne that the Carter 3 Wayne. So, but I wanted to give this album some love. I was going to do the Carter 3 tonight. I really was going to do the Carter 3, but then I was like, nah. I called the audible right before it was time for us to shoot, and was like, nah, I'm going to do the Carter one. That one deserves a little bit more love, because that's what I want to do with this channel. I want to talk about the albums that everybody don't really talk about a lot. Like, the albums that still need shine and recognition, and that's what this whole show is about, just giving those albums their flowers and love and bringing new awareness to them. And maybe people who subscribe to my channel that never heard the Carter one, and never had any interest to go back and listen to it. But I'm trying to tell you, Wayne rapping on there was crazy. It was crazy. And this is the album that saved Cash Money. This is the album that saved Lil Wayne. This is the album. And we don't have the Carter one. We don't get Drake, Nicki. Yeah. We don't get Young Money without this. So that's why it deserves love. For that reason alone. Like, it deserves love for saving a whole company. Yeah, that's all I got, man. For those who have listened to the Carter, let me know some of your favorite songs on here. Let me know, where do you hold the Carter, the first one, in the rankings of all the Carters, 1 through 5. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And, if you have any suggestions or any more albums that you would like for me to review, drop those in the comments as well. As always, though, flowers for Lil Wayne, the Carter. I'm Tatum. Peace.